Hi everyone, Lara Danzl here with the Vermilion County Conservation District. We're going to go on a little hike through the forest this morning to check out what plants have started to bloom for the month of May. Before we go too far on our hike, I would like to show you a plant that I hope that we all can learn how to identify and avoid anytime we're out hiking, and that is poison ivy. Poison ivy is one leaf that has been divided into 3 leaflets. You'll notice the bottom 2 leaflets are directly across from each other on a stem, and then the third one sticks up a little bit. Generally, where those 3 leaves come together, it has a little bit of a reddish color. You can also notice the edges of the leaves have a toothed appearance or a jagged appearance along the edge. Poison ivy has an oil, and if that oil gets on your skin, it can cause a rash or an irritation that can last up to 2 weeks. There are a lot of other plants that we have in the park that also have 3 leaves. I'll point some of those out to this morning as well, so hopefully we can learn the difference between poison ivy and some of our spring wildflowers. Here's a plant that might commonly get misidentified as poison ivy. This one is jack-in-the-pulpit. You'll notice that it has 3 leaves, but the bottom 2 leaves are directly attached to the stem. They're not separate on a stalk. The edges of the leaves are not toothed like the poison ivy either. This is the flower of jack-in-the-pulpit, and if I were to lift up the flap here, you can see Jack standing in the pulpit, which is how it gets that name, jack-in-the-pulpit. Another plant that also has 3 leaves is trillium. You'll notice how these 3 leaves, however, are equidistant apart from each other, and they have a mottled color on their leaves of 2 different shades of green. The purple maroon flower is there in the center. Trillium starts with letters T-R-I, which means 3. So there's 3 petals, 3 leaves, 3 sepals, everything comes in parts of 3. What I think is great about our spring wildflowers is they all bloom at different times. Earlier this spring we had a lot of our bloodroots and Dutchman breeches out, and now it's time for our second wave of wildflowers to start to come out. This one here is known as woodland phlox, or sometimes it's also known as blue phlox. May apples have started to pop up all over our forest floor. They look like green umbrellas. A lot of our May apples will just be a singular stalk, but if you hunt and look, you'll find some that also have 2 umbrella tops. And in the center of those 2 umbrellas, in just a few weeks, a white flower will begin to bloom. Here's a May apple that has flowered. One flower that's been blooming for a couple weeks now is bellwort, named because the flower hangs like a bell. Wild geranium is blooming. The beautiful pink flowers are one of our showier spring wildflowers. They could be up to 2 inches across. I hope you enjoyed seeing a few of our spring wildflowers that are in bloom right now in Vermilion County. If you have any questions about any plants or animals or anything about our parks in general, feel free to drop them in the comments below. Thank you.